Hello friends, welcome to ICRA Technology. Let's learn about Python exception handling. So exception in Python occurs when Python program encounters something unexpected. So this is not an error, but something happens unexpectedly, so we gets an exception. Okay. So now we can handle the exception in Python using the try except block. Okay, so let me first show you what I mean by exception and then how we can handle it. So suppose here I have a value called as a as 10, okay, and b as 0, and now I'm trying to divide a by b and store it in c. So as we all know, we cannot divide a number by 0, right? A number cannot have 0 in denominator. So let's see how Python react on this. See, it's giving us some error which is saying 0 division error, which means you are trying to divide this value by 0. Now this exception has occurred, right? Now what I want is, now if a user sees this, we as a programmer can understand what this means because we have created it. But if a user see this, he will most probably not understand what's happening. So to give the user a clear view of what is happening, what we can do is we can write the potential exception code in a try block. I know that this block will raise some exception. Okay, first let's see the syntax. I know that there is a block of code. Okay, there is certain block of code, see this, that will raise an exception. Okay, so what I will do is I will write that block of code inside try, and then I will write except block. Now what we want to accept is 0 division error. See, as we are getting 0 division error, so we will write 0 division error here. Then what I want to do is I will print and I will describe it in bit detail so that the user can understand what's actually happening. So I'll write you are trying to divide by 0 which is not supported. Okay, so now user can better understand what's happening. Okay, now let me run it and show you. See, now we are not getting any error. If I'll clear it, we are running the same code, but we are not getting any error. We are getting this statement as you are trying to divide by 0 which is not supported. So if our code has some exception, then our exception get accept and it will print accordingly. But if it does not have any exception, like suppose we are not trying to divide by 0, then it will run as required. So I'll print the value of c, and if there is no error because 10 can be divided by 1, it will print the output. But if there is an error or there is an exception, we will get this except block which we have written here. So this is a very simple example of exceptions. Exceptions can be of two type. One is already predefined exceptions, okay, and another is, you can say, user defined exceptions. So these are some example of predefined exceptions. One we learned here, 0 division error, index error. Index error occurs when we try to access the element outside of the list. So let me show this one to you also. Let's comment this block first. Okay, so suppose I have a list one which like this have numbers 1 2 3 4, and I am trying to print list 1 of 4. Okay, which see, list 1 have index 0, 1, 2 and 3. There is no element at index 4. Okay, so we will get an error called as index error, which means there is no index 4, does not exist an index 4. So now I want to handle this error. How I can do is, this is very simple. I'll just do, let me show you how to do this. So here we have our try block. What I will do is, I will write the potential code that might raise an exception into the try block. This code, I know that this code will raise an exception as we have given the wrong index, and I will give it a text saying, you have to make sure that you mention the correct error, right? So this is index error, and what will happen is, you are trying to access the index which does not exist. Okay, so you are trying to access the index which actually does not exist. Now let me run it again and show you the same code. See, but if I'll try to access the index which exists, so my code will run as per the instruction. These are some more exceptions. Key error, when we try to access a key from a dictionary which does not exist, so we get the key error. Then type error, when we try to concatenate or perform operations on the two different types, as this is a string and this is an integer, we are trying to perform operation on two different types of data, so we will get type error. Then attribute error, when we try to access an attribute or method that does not exist on an object, so we will get attribute error. Okay, now name error occurs when trying to access a variable or function that hasn't been defined. When you try to access a variable or function which is not defined, then you will get name error. Then we have overflow error, when we do some calculations which are out of the maximum limit, then we receive the overflow error. And syntax error, everyone knows what syntax error is. So yeah, let's quickly revise what exception handling is. Exception occurs when the program encounters something unexpected. Exceptions can be handled unlike errors. So exception can be handled by using try except block. The syntax of it looks like this. In try block, we write the code that can potentially cause an exception, and then we have except block, which deals what if an exception occurs in a try block. If there is no exception in try block, then the except block will not work. Then there is one more thing, we have finally block. So finally block will run irrespective of exception. If you write a finally block, even there is an exception, either there is an exception or there is no exception, finally block will run. So yeah, that's all about today's video. Thank you.